So last week we covered this disgraceful and despicable Atlantic story by Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg, where he had these anonymous sources, what I was parodying in the opening of the show. He had these anonymous sources saying that Trump called soldiers who had lost their lives in battle suckers and losers, okay? Now, a number of people who were in the meetings who will come out and do give their names are discrediting the story, saying it isn't true. Among them, John Bolton, and I use him specifically because he hates Trump and because he would say anything to get him, but he will not lie. And John Bolton's an honest man. When he was asked if Trump was racist, he said, no, I never saw that. And now he's asked about this story, and here's what he said. Cut 20.
According to what that article said, the president made disparaging remarks about our soldiers, the people buried at the An Marne Cemetery, in connection with the decision for him not to go to the ceremony that was planned that afternoon. And that was simply false. I don't know who told the author that, but that was false.
So that's devastating. That is devastating. This means that Jeffrey Goldberg is doing exactly what the New York Times did and won the Pulitzer Prize. The Washington Post won the Pulitzer Prize for sources who hated Trump and were trying to get him, publishing those anonymous sources, what they said when they slipped him the information they were trying to get out into the press. The reason you don't use anonymous sources solely, the reason a reporter does not do that is because everybody's got an axe to grind in Washington. Everybody in politics has an axe to grind. If I don't know who the source is, if I don't know the name of the source, right, I don't know what his axe is. I can't tell, well, okay, he has no reason to say that. Like John Bolton, I just showed you John Bolton. We know he doesn't like Donald Trump. He's wrote a whole book trying to take out Donald Trump. So we know that when he says Donald Trump didn't do something bad, we can trust him. We can kind of believe in him. That's why we have, you don't use only anonymous sources. Here is Goldberg's amazing excuse, cut 19.
We are not going to be intimidated by the President of the United States. We're going to do our jobs. And I think that is true for a large number of outlets. His intense frustration, which comes out in these outbursts, comes from the fact that, unlike dictators in other countries, he cannot simply shut down media outlets that he doesn't like. And so it's our duty to continue to pursue the truth, no matter what he says about us.
What garbage, what garbage. And Brian Stelter says, well, you know who the sources is, so we trust you, don't we? No, we don't trust him. Why should we? It's the Atlantic. The Atlantic has gone down the drain. The Obama Justice Department prosecuted more government leakers under the 1917 Espionage Act than all prior administrations combined. They went after the phone records of AP reporters. They went after James Rosen of Fox News. They did all this stuff to truly, truly intimidate reporters. Nothing from the reporters. The press loved him. And so suddenly Donald Trump, who criticizes the press, suddenly he's the bad guy. I just want to play this one. Rick Grinnell, who's done has a lot of different jobs in the administration. He was the first gay cabinet member. He was announcing a big economic deal between Serbia and Kosovo, including a deal that says Serbia would move its embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. Now, and Kosovo and Israel have moved to normalize ties and establish diplomatic relations. This is a big story because back in the 1990s, late 1990s, we had to bomb these people. They were fighting each other so badly. They were killing each other so much. This is an intense place. This is a place where a lot of trouble comes from. World War I started in these places. So Grinnell comes out to talk about this, and a reporter asks him about gay rights, and Grinnell just loses it.
Last year, you kicked off the Trump administration push to decriminalize homosexuality.
Yeah, I'm going to just talk about Kosovo and Serbia. I don't know if you can find it on a map, but this is atrocious. I have to tell you guys, you might be too young to understand what this issue is about. Maybe the older journalists should step up and say, this is a big deal. This is a big issue. I'm astounded at what happens in Washington, D.C., and especially in this room. I got to tell you, get substantive. Maybe it's too complicated of an issue for you all.
Rick, respectfully, this is the first time we've had the opportunity to speak with these individuals.
Okay, but today's about Kosovo and Serbia. Let's take a little time and talk about this 21-year issue, Peter. I mean, 21-year issue. We're getting the same questions that are all politics. You guys don't understand what's happening outside of Washington, D.C. People aren't listening to you anymore. It's really a crisis in journalism.
It's true people aren't listening. More people trust Donald Trump talking about the Chinese flu than trust the media. And that's obviously a big media fail. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Andrew Klavan Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all our future content.